Hey everybody, welcome to my video. This is just a casual flip through of the month of May in my Midori Hibino planner. For those who are not familiar with the Midori Hibino, I believe it's the only one in the A6 size, but also it's 2 pages per day, so somewhat of a daily planner, but you get more extra room. And then this is the leather notebook cover I made. It is very poorly done, but it's not bad for my first-ish try. I hand-stitched this just because I like the look of hand-stitched leather, and I don't own a sewing machine. But whatever. Anyways, let's get into it. This is the 2025 Midori Hibino. I actually, for some reason, did not pay attention to the descriptions and things when I was purchasing this planner. Totally missed the part where it said 2 pages per day, and so when it got here, I just kind of had to deal with it. But yeah, you can kind of see, I think May was a good month. I hit my stride in my kind of balance with this planner. But yeah, anyway. So this first part is a monthly view, and in March, I thought about using this as a functional planner, and then I think by May I got the idea from Instagram that people were using this as kind of a prompt holder, you know, to just write down all the daily prompts and reference this, and so that's what I decided to do. Started doing that in April. Journaling was not consistent, and then I got to May and found like a method pretty much. So every Sunday, Monday, whatever, at the beginning of the week, I'll kind of go through and write down the prompts, and so that I'm not sitting here filling out for the entire month, even though it would have been easier. Definitely not so much so for my hands, and so I just made it a routine on Sundays to start writing down the prompts for the week. And I actually started with Helen's prompts from the Coffee Monsters Co. You can find hers at thecoffeemonstersco.com. And then I think in May, I kind of decided to abandon Helen's prompt, and I went to Ria_journals on Instagram. She has great prompts. So that's what I did for the most part in the month of May. And then all the rest of the stuff, I was kind of testing inks, things like that. So let's get to May, and like I said, it took me a while to kind of find my rhythm, balance in this journal. It definitely morphed a lot from April, which I was trying to use it functionally, and then it didn't happen that way. So May comes around, I'm still kind of answering the prompts, not quite sure yet what I intended on journaling, because I have so many planners and journals. I wasn't sure if it was okay to be repetitive, but May started off a little slow, just started answering prompts when I didn't particularly have anything interesting to say that day. And so, yeah, just wrote down whatever, as long as I was kind of journaling. I even wrote down recipes for foods I wanted to try. Some days I would journal and not do a daily prompt. And then I think, yeah, this is it. Also, I skipped, I forgot where we were going, but I was busy the 7th and the 8th, and so I didn't want an empty page, so I kind of glued it together so I didn't have to see it. But around May, is it 8th? Yeah, May 8th, I really sat down and I'm like, you know what? I don't think a journal has to be for anything exciting, and I know that's kind of stupid to like realize, but like in my head, I feel like I am very strict about purpose, about having to write something that's meaningful, and it doesn't have to be that way. And I think once I got out of that mindset, I really hit my like journaling like freedom, whatever. So some days I would journal about the morning. Over here, maybe something self-reflective about whatever it was. And then, you know, kind of throughout the day kind of thing. If I had more to say, I would write down. And I will say I'm not perfect when it comes to layering stickers. I just kind of do what feels good but looks good, but also sometimes it looks like ugly, like fugly. So I'm not an expert. I kind of take inspo from other people on Instagram. I spend countless hours on Instagram when my son is napping. So yeah. Decided to include like little scraps. So not necessarily junk journaling. I sometimes trash is trash. Like sometimes I forget to keep it because I throw it away because I'm so like in the habit of throwing stuff away. And then, you know, journaling still. And sometimes I'll just like write the most random stuff. Like, look, I wrote about my uneventful morning where I stayed up late instead of sleeping early, or things I like that I've been eating, like a medium well steak with A1 sauce or cake batter ice cream from Cold Stones. And I'm still like diligently answering the prompts on the right side. But yeah, if you have like trouble thinking about like what to write about, like sometimes I'll write about this disgusting meal I made, or in the morning I grabbed a coffee, and then I'll like write a mini review about the coffee, like what I liked about it, what I didn't like about it, would I order again, stuff like that. Some things I was looking forward to, stuff about work. Like I've been bogged down by meetings, and I find that like venting in a journal is like the best part. Here it was a coffee themed, and so I wrote about coffee. Sometimes things were plain and I just kind of stuck a sticker, and that was like the extent of my planning. And then my Serica studio order came, and then I used the scrap from her packaging and I posted in here to take up room. And you can do that as well. Sometimes, if you've noticed, I've like literally pasted a whole like paper in here so that I had less room to write, and so it looks full at the same time. And here I was kind of experimenting with stickers, layering. I mean, like I said, I'm not a professional. Sometimes it looks a little weird, but whatever. Here again, more layers, talking about my morning. Sometimes I have things to say about my son's sleep schedule. And you know, before I was very like strict about what kind of content can go in a certain notebook. Like one notebook can only have personal stuff, or one notebook can be about venting or something. But I think this is kind of like it encapsulates everything. On this day, I watched 13 Going on 30 and just talked about the movie and how watching it at different periods in your life could really like make or like improve or change your perspective on things. And even with the prompts, I feel like a lot of people tend to overcomplicate it. They'll write like full pages, which they have every right to, but sometimes I don't have things like I want to say, or sometimes things are better off in a bullet list format. And so yeah, some days I journal and write paragraphs, and some days I'll write like quick bullet points or, you know, quick thoughts. Sometimes I'll like do a color theme. This one was yellow, black here. Yeah, just a lot of chaos and layering with washi. Sometimes I'll just rip the washi by hand because it gives this like rogue, ruggish look that feels very like homemade, I guess. But yeah. But I hope like with this video, it kind of inspires people. I know that sometimes we see things through other people's like lenses, and they seem to have so much to write about, and sometimes it just seems like that way. Like they could be writing about the most random like crap, like about the chips I've had today, or the different types of hot chips. Ranking, that's a good idea. I'll probably do that too. I'll rank all my favorite spicy chips and write about why I like one over the other, or, you know, Here I talked about being in a book hangover and being in a book slump. But yeah. And then here, I actually didn't have an idea of what I wanted to write about, but then I kind of used summer stickers. And I know, the goose and this plant is so random, but... And then it just kind of inspired me to say, okay, summer's coming up. What kind of activities do I think is fun, would be fun? And then I just kind of talked about the summer heat because it's been effing hot lately. And it's terrible, and I hate hot weather. And then I kind of decorated prior to writing things down, and so I chose this Choose Kindness sticker, and I thought about what was something kind that somebody in my life did recently, and I just kind of talked about, you know, working and feeling like I have imposter syndrome, and how some people that work with you can kind of like step away from that type of like mindset agonizing that you have, and they can be like, hey, actually, like, you've really helped me out. You're very, like, perceptive. I value your opinion. And it just kind of made me think about how sometimes we should probably compliment others more. I know that's such a given, but I feel like sometimes some people don't hear that enough in their lives, and I think it would be good to be that kind of person that reminds others how amazing they are. And so, yeah, that kind of thought literally just came from this freaking Choose Kindness sticker. Like, that's, I don't know. It's just like things like that. And then for my May review, I just kind of talked about things that I've done this month. So yeah, that was pretty much my flip through. I'm hoping I can keep doing this for June. I love being able to daily journal. Sometimes it doesn't even take that much in my day. It does hurt my hand because I write small, and I feel like sometimes I have to, like, you know, do it all in one go. But you can literally, like, do, like, a paragraph in the morning, a sentence in the morning, come back later, and just add to it throughout the day when you have a moment. But, yeah, I hope this inspires you. I hope we can reflect more, I guess, on the month. This one went by so quickly. I'm shocked. I'm just very proud of myself because I was able to stay consistent with something. It wasn't always perfect, and I definitely found my lazy days, as you can kind of tell in certain spreads, but for the most part, I honestly enjoyed it. It was therapeutic. It was nice just not having to think about what to write. So I hope that everyone's journaling journey can be similar, and thank you so much for watching.